Hi guys, welcome to MFL Teaching Tips. My name's Leo. I've been teaching for about 8 years, and I'm here just to give you some ideas um, and hints and tips to just help you with teaching in general, teaching languages in general. It's a hard job as it is, and if you've got a couple of minutes to watch this video, I might make your life a little bit easier. Um, so yeah, what I want to talk about today is the zero prep lesson. Now I say zero prep, I should call it very, very little prep, okay? And it's where you can do very, very little prep, but you can still do something that is worthwhile, that is engaging for the kids, and where you can visibly see clear progress from them. By the end of the lesson, you know they have learned something. So, what I'm going to talk about today is this. Now, let's say you go into work, you've not prepared something, you've got a class in 5 minutes, and you need to do something. You get yourself a book, you get yourself a textbook, or you do it from your head. You think about what they've been doing recently, and on your board, whatever you use to teach them, you write down 20 phrases. So I've written 10 down here. Now these are just from the free time topic because that's what I've been doing recently, and I've picked some that are awkward, some that are easy, some that are some that they just forget, and some that come up on the GCSE. Okay, now ideally you would want to have probably about 1 to 20 of these. So I've got 10 just for ease, just so I'm not overcomplicating things, but 1 to 20 is perfect, is what you need. So now what you do is you go through and you quiz them and you pick each kid, you get them looking at what the words are, and you tell them they're not writing anything down, and that is absolutely imperative that they are not writing anything down. Everything they are doing, they are trying to do from their memory. So you go around and you say, right, you there, Las Películas, what do we think? Um, and give them some clues. So, oh, you might go to the cinema, you might watch them, and they go, oh, film's great. Okay, Los Libros. Oh, you've got one in front of you. Oh, book. Películas de amor. Right, we've had películas. It's a type of película. What is it? And you go through and you give them the clues, but you are not letting them write anything down. Okay, and you're going through and you're quizzing them, and you're going through these 20 words, and eventually you get to the end. So when you get to the end, the thing to do is go around again, but you are not helping them again, okay? And you give them less and less help as you go to the point where actually you're picking on the kids, and before they know, before you've given them any help, they know it. So like Las Películas, films, Los Libros, books, Las Películas de Amor, love films, romance films, La Natación, and so on. So as you're going round, you're just quizzing them, quizzing them, quizzing them. It's quick, it's vocabulary cool. Now, when you get to a certain point where you feel you've gone round and they all know it and they are on it and they're getting them right each time, okay? This is when, again, without them writing any down, what you can do is you with your list on the board, as long as they can all see it and as long as it's clear, and hopefully your handwriting's better than mine, what you can do is this: you can say, right, guys, what I want you to do, I'm going to read out some of the English, and all I want you to do is pick the correct number. You don't even have to write the Spanish; you just pick the correct number. So, looking at the list, if I said horse riding, what number is that? Okay, and you maybe get them to write A, B, C, D, and E in their books, something like that. And you just do a super quick one. Okay, right, horse riding, and they will write number 5. Okay, next one. What is sailing? And they will write number 6. What is films? And they will write number 1, and so on. And you go down like that. And you go, okay, guys, right. And if you had a really weak class who really weren't very good, what you can do instead is get them just to write what the Spanish word is. So again, even easier. A, B, C, D, E. All right, guys, all I want you to do, and if you want to practice the writing, they can write what you say, or if you want them just to practice the listening, yeah, okay, guys, what number is El Ocio? And they will write number 9. Guys, what number is El Tiempo Libre? Number 8. And so on. And they keep going down, and there's loads of stuff you can do with this before they even get to writing any of it out. Um, Again, then what you can do now, if you had a very good, if you had a very able class, if you had a class who were pretty on it, you could do this, and you could let them, you think, right, they've remembered loads of these. You put them into pairs, and what they can do is they make a little grid, and you've got student 1 and student 2, and they test each other, and they might say, right, student 1 might ask number 2, and might say, all right, what's number 1 mean? And I'll say, oh, it's films, and they get it right. Okay. And number 2 will say, oh, what's number 4 mean? And in their books or whatever they've got in front of them, they can kind of rate, and they go number four. Oh, I can't remember that one. Can't remember that one. What is it? What is it? Can you help me? And this, that, and they know that that kid doesn't know number four. And what you can do is from this, you can walk around and have a quick look down at what they're doing. First of all, you can see if they're doing it because they're working with each other. It's very kind of Kaganized activity. It's very obvious if they're not doing it. Also, um, you can see whether they are actually, whether they actually know them or not. Because if you've got a kid who's got this, um, that kid doesn't know them, you might need to go over them again. And what I would say is when you've done a couple of activities, and I'd suggest doing them a couple of times, get them up and about, get them up quizzing each other, um, see how well they can remember the 20 words. And then once you've done that, you say, right, guys, back in your seats, or we're not working with pairs or whatever. With now, what I want you to do in your books, I want you to go through the 20. I want you to write the Spanish and the English and see how many you remember. And you're doing this in silence and on your own. Okay. Now, what this does is this gives you a bit of time because it is your zero prep lesson to plan the next thing if you need to plan the next thing. And the next thing could be bringing some verbs into it. So, depending how long your lessons are, I could happily spend an hour doing 20 words. But just vocab blitzing doesn't bring in any of the grammar, it doesn't bring in any of the kind of nuts and bolts of MFL. So if they are doing it in silence and you've got them sorted and they are writing them out, this gives you a chance too. Now, I love the graphics tablet, that's what I'm using now. I would use my graphics tablet while my whiteboard is busy, but it gives you a chance to maybe think of some sentences that you could put these into. You could do them on a bit of paper and write them out afterwards, or you could do them on a bit of paper and read them out to the kids and they've got to write them down. There's loads of stuff you can do as long as you've got your beginning bits of vocab to um, to kind of get them started. So what I would say is from here, again, depending how much time you've got, depending whether they know them or not, what you can do. All right. So they're writing out the 20 words. They're seeing how many they remember. They're getting the list in their book for them to refer to. Um, from here, what I would do is, well, the first thing I would do is, while they're doing that, plan the next bit, plan the next part, and that could simply be some sort of translation, some sort of listening. It could be some sort of could be some sort of transcription. But I would be looking to get my verbs in there. Okay. And once you've planned that, I would go on to then mark what they've done, because obviously while they're doing it, there'll be some of them that they don't know. They never remember them all. Um, mark mark it all, correct it all. If there's any spelling mistakes, check they've all done it, because as we know, they're very good at not doing things sometimes. And then move on with the next part of your lesson. So you could then say, right, guys, using those, I've written you some sentences. All I want you to do is copy the Spanish. So there you've got those words, and you could read out whatever your sentence is, and you could read out 3 sentences, and first one could be veo películas todos los días. Your next one could be en mi tiempo libre hago equitación. And your next bit could be something like no soporto las películas de amor. Okay. And again, that could take you 10 minutes. Well, hopefully not 10 minutes, but that could take you a decent amount of time to repeat it to the kids, to let them spell it out, to go through the answers, to make sure you've got it all down right. But then now what you've got is you've got some verbs in there, and you've got a translation activity that they can do from the listening that they have done with you. So as you can see, and I'm sure you're probably getting some ideas if you are somebody who's taught for a very long time, just by having a vocab list, there are a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of ways that you can take it, where you can make it these three things that I mentioned earlier, where you can make it, um, where you can make it there we go, where you can make it worthwhile, where you can make it engaging, where you can make it so that it is clear that the kids have progressed, okay? Because sometimes our subject, as you probably know, yes, it's about learning obviously the new info, but you have to practice the old skills, okay? And you have to um, not practice the old skills, practice the old vocab, okay? Recall the old vocab, okay? And you've got to practice the skills because reading, writing, speaking, listening, it all comes up to, first of all, make them a grade, but also help them do a bit of Spanish. So I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Um, you know, this is the first one I've made, and I thought this would be a useful one to make. Thank you for watching.